Paperback reader. All right, I've got this great pulp magazine given to me by Joe Morton. It's an analog science fiction. It's from August of 1972. That was very kind of Joe to do that. There was a page I wanted to show you. Once again, that's Analog Science Fiction, August 1972. And speaking of books that were given to me, the next three were given to me by the Jackson Roykirk. This is The Invisible Man and War of the Worlds, both by H.G. Wells in 1972. Isn't that beautiful? Cover by Richard Bober, or Bober. The back cover is very similar to that. And the other two books that Jackson Roykirk gave me were European science fiction. Pretty cool cover here. Called Terra SF. I have yet to read these. If I recall, Jackson says that the first one is a little better than the second one. So here's the second one, Terra SF 2. So once again, thank you, Jackson Roykirk. Now I have the Sioux Spaceman in a later edition by itself, but here is a double edition of the Sioux Spaceman by Andre Norton. I always thought that cover was just a hoot. So you see here's the ace double. On the other side is And Then That Town Took Off. Covered by Ed Emshwiller. It's like once that town got electricity, there was no stopping them. And indoor plumbing. And the high school basketball team was doing great. The town just took off. And I have the regular version of Secret of the Lost Race, but this is the ace double of that. Another wonderful Andre Norton novel with a great cover. Here's the spine, looking really good. Now let's see what's on the flip side. This is Ace D 381, covered by Ed Emshwiller. Very cool. I wanted you to see this guy in the corner here. And here's Ace D 419. It's not a science fiction, it's a murder mystery. Slice of Death. And there's the spine. On the flip side is Open Season. Cover by Paul Rader. Wonder if he got kidded by Paul Revere and the Raiders. Up next is Stargard. And I've showed you this one before. So the reason I'm showing it to you again is I now have the Ace double to that. Cover is by Ed Emshwiller. And on the flip side of that is Planet of No Return by Paul Anderson. Cover by Ed Valigursky. This is Ace D190. Very beautiful. Now the artist is unknown on this cover from 1977. Instead of Catch a Rising Star, it's Catch a Falling Star. To me, it's in the style of Valigursky or Emshwiller, but nobody can tell. And I consult many databases to determine who painted what cover. Here's an Ace F-146 from 1962. It's Sir Scoundrel. So it's a great swashbuckling novel by J. Scotland. They named a whole country after this author. This cover is by Richard Powers from 1960. And it looks like there's a cover crease in it, but that's just the trail of the spaceship. I guess they even have chemtrails out in space. But we're not supposed to notice that. More books you can buy. I don't have these. Oh, another great Andre Norton novel, Eye of the Monster. This is Ace F-147. Cover is by Dean Ellis. Here's the 21st Century Sub, covered by Art Sussman. This is Avon Books, 1956. Philip Jose Farmer. This cover is by Boris from 1966. The Gates of Creation. And I'll get in close so you can see that artwork. This cover is by Jack Gauguin. It's from Pyramid Books, 1967, The Time Tunnel. Here's The Trial of Terra by Jack Williamson, Ace D555, covered by Ed Emshwiller from 1962. The Trial of Terra. There's The Blind Spot by Austin Hall and Homer Eon Flint, Ace G547, 1964, covered by Jack Gauguin. If you look closely, there's a couple of guys on the far right there. Pretty wild stuff. Now, I've showed this one to you before, so quickly I'm going to remind you about it. It's The Radio Beasts, covered by Ed Emshwiller. This is by Ralph Milne Farley, but it's not the only radio novel that they wrote. I wanted you to see how crazy it was. This guy has like antennas like he's a bug. So here's a bug, The Radio Planet, by the same author. And it's Ace F312, covered by John Schroner. 1964. The same year as the Radio Beast came out. I'm assuming you read Radio Beast first. I haven't yet read these. Here's an Arthur C. Clarke book, Expedition to Earth. It's Ballantine Books, 1973, covered by Dean Ellis. It's a great cover. I wish you guys could see these covers up close. And here's The Last Planet. I've shown it to you before in a previous Paperback Reader episode, but this copy was the Ace Double book. Here's what's on the other side, A Man Obsessed. You can insert your own Dr. Fauci joke here. But The Last Planet, that's just a fabulous piece of art. Written by Andre Norton, Ace D96, cover by Harry Barton from 1955. And later on, they released it by itself. It's not part of a double set. So here's the one I showed you in a previous episode. I think that Ace Double novel gives you a little bit more of the artwork. And here's Here's Catastrophe Planet by Keith Laumer, a 1966 Berkeley Medallion book, cover art by Richard Powers. If it looks all wild and pop art, it's usually Richard Powers. Or like a modern art. The Alien from Arcturus, 1956, Ace D139. No artist was given, and none that I could find. And on the flip side, Adam Curtin. Very cool cover here. Cover art there by Ed Valigursky. This is 1956. And I give you the number Ace D139 in case you want to look these up on eBay and get them for yourself or something. Here is Day of the Giants. Written by Lester Del Rey from 1972. No artist is known. And here's a Boris Karloff book. Boris Karloff's Favorite Horror Stories. Produced by Avon, 1965. And the Time Axis. Ace 356, cover by Alex Schomburg. Here's the Genetic General, written by Gordon R. Dixon. Ace F426 from 1967, no artist given. Here is Doomsday, 1999. Ace F201, covered by Ed Valigursky, 1963. That is just so cool. Here is We Claim These Stars, Paul Anderson, Ace G697. Cover art by Kelly Freeze. Perchance to Dream, written by Mac Reynolds, produced by Ace, cover by Dean Ellis, 1977. Here's Jupiter, Revolt on Jupiter, 1978, cover by Bruce Pennington, produced by Manor Books. No Time for Heroes, an Ace double book, cover by Josh Kirby, 1973. And here's Alice's World. And if you look closely, you can see Alice. Cover also by Josh Kirby. The Broken Cycle, covered by Richard Hescox, 1979. Now here's a creepy horse on this one. This is Star Courier, covered by Ray Fabush, 1977. Where do you get a load of this horse? Now, if the guy wasn't bad enough, he can really mess you up. That horse. I think I would surrender. Here's Worlds Apart, covered by Richard Powers, 1958. The Space Swimmers. Written by Gordon Dixon, covered by Richard Powers, from the year 1967. Sometimes this author is listed as Gordon R. Dixon, but this time there was no middle initial. And Naked to the Stars, covered by Ed Emshwiller. This is from Pyramid Press, 1961. And I will be with you right after these commercial announcements.
K-Tel presents the hot new album of the year. Dr. Silverage sings the hits.
Tra-la-la, la-la-la-la, tra-la-la, la-la-la-la, tra-la-la, la-la-la-la, tra-la-la, la-la-la-la.
That new singing sensation can be yours today. Songs like
Together again, my tears have stopped falling. The long, lonely Saturday is now at an end. Shine on me, sunshine, walk with me, world, it's a skip-diddy-doo-dah day. I'm the happiest nut in the whole USA.
To order, call 1-800-555-KTEL. That's 1-800-555-KTEL.
Beckerman's glue is the best because we passed the sniff test.
And hello, everybody. Hopefully you all can hear me and see me okay. That was Paperback Reader number 5. That's in the tank, or in the can, as they say. I am all done showing you paperbacks. So it took 5 whole episodes. So if you were paying attention, you could count them and tell me just exactly how many I have. I've kept track somewhere, but I did not go over too well. Looks like a few people showed up a little late. There's Lead Paint coming in at the last second. People are saying hi to him. And here's Charles66. Hi, Mike and everyone. Good to see you all. Lead Paint says, hey, fella, what's the theme? Sci-fi. It usually is when it comes to my paperbacks, but this is probably the largest group of YouTube chatter who don't have any video posted on their channels. Okay. And there's I Am One of Us laughing at that. Jackson Roykirk laughing at that. Hey, that's Enrico Palazzo. Hopefully I pronounced that right. All done. Is that all you have? Yeah, is that plenty? I like Rod, so I'll forgive his musical talent. Yes. Um, Speaking of paperbacks, I've started reading these. I figure I've had these for years. Uh, I've been reading everything else. I put aside my pulps because I really wanted to get to these. So I'm starting with this one, The Atom Conspiracy by Jeff Sutton. And I have to say, I am almost done. It is outstanding. Uh, I'll give you a little, just a taste. Uh, this was written in 1963. And in the far future of 1970, there was an atomic war. It lasted for a few decades. It was horrible. The humanity that survives said never again. They outlaw all atomic research. If they find you doing atomic research, you're in big, big, big trouble. And so it's now in the year 2450. And they have decided that people that rule their planet should be based on your IQ. It almost sounds like a good idea. But so you have 6 rulers. They all rule one continent. And they all get together. And there's one supreme thinker. And they have discovered that there has been a recent death over here. Somebody died of radiation poisoning. Therefore, that's a no-no, so they have to investigate it. And there's also another problem, people that have ESP based on the radiation, and they're classified as mutants. Now, keep in mind, it's 1963. Some other book came out around 1963 in Marvel, I believe, about mutants. Anyway, but it's fascinating because they pick a detective to go into this. He's supposed to be a low IQ guy, but turns out he's a closet ESPer, and they've just told him, what to be on the lookout for his investigation. So, and he starts his investigation wondering, did they figure out that I'm a mutant? So, it's got some pretty good turns to it. I'm enjoying it so far. Highly recommend it. The Atom Conspiracy by Jeff Sutton. So I don't just show this to you. I do try to recommend them when I can. I'll get caught up with the chat here pretty soon. Let me show you. Here they are. What have I been up to lately? I'm still, of course, working on my Walt Disney Comics and Stories, getting a big run of these all put together. I'm collecting number 19, which is the oldest one I can get my hands on, all the way through 265, I believe. It's basically every Dell. Of course, they went on to Gold Key, and I got a lot of those too. But getting all those, they are hard to figure out. They didn't always put the number on the issue, and it's not always in the indicia like most comics. What they would do is they would write it very blurrily inside the art. So you might have Huey, Dewey, and Louie's feet, and written in there, scribbled is the number, like issue number 103. You could barely make it out. But don't worry, people have made it out, so they've made a list. So when you're at a shop and you say, what number is that? They don't know. They'll read it to you. They'll go, volume 5, number 4. But that's just what Western Publishing put on everything. So you got to kind of make your own charts, and that's what I have done. So if you see a color like red around the book, that means I have it. And if you see white around the book, I don't have it. And so I can quickly just pull that out, because when you're looking at hundreds of these, it's hard to keep them especially when you get old. It's hard to keep them in your memory of what you have. So it's my way of making sure. I'm just about to finish that, and I will try to definitely make a video similar to this where you want to see over 250 Donald Duck books. Well, I've recently picked up some great Ghost Bronze Age, and who could resist this guy? I just think that's great. So I'm trying to be even better about keeping score of on the back of what each book is. I'll show you these 3 first. And that was 1974. I think she's singing "Take the Wheel," but that's not who she needs to take the wheel. All right. There's two more. I got these by trading. I'm trying not to spend money. Everything I have is going to the Walt Disney. But I really love this one. And I'll tell you what I traded for these here in a second. These two Ghost book, what would you trade for them? Well, I traded 3 Spider-Man comics for these. One of them was Spectacular Spider-Man, where he gets cosmic powers. So, it's early 90s. And then 2 books from the Maximum Carnage run. So I went into my local comic shop, and I offered those 3 books. And you're saying, oh, Mikey, you got rid of 3 great Spider-Man books. Well, I got plenty of copies of those. But I didn't have these. And I knew they had these at that store. And I thought, I'll make a trade for 3 for 2. And besides, the wife thinks, well, that's a great trade. He's culling the collection down from 3 comics to 2. Now if he could just do that a few more thousand times, we'd be making. No, I'm kidding, but I thought this was the better trade. Why? I wanted these. I've already got copies of those Spider-Man books, and I don't care for the Maximum Carnage storyline. So I thought this was the better. But when you get old, you'll make decisions like this. I want the older books. So. But when I went to the shop and I said, hey, would you like to trade? He looked at the Maximum Carnage books and he said, yeah. In fact, I've always got somebody coming in here wanting to get the whole set of Maximum Carnage because it was quite the little task, because it ran through several of the Spider-Man books, and then they even made a couple of Spider-Man books just for that ridiculous story, which I didn't care for. And I said, really? So if I had the whole set, would that, be worth anything? And he said, hey, it might be. Just depends. Well, it jogged my memory. So why am I telling you this? Well, because just a few minutes before we went on the air, I dug out something that I forgot I had. I had been working on this for a few decades now. Well, if I do my math right, I guess it's been 3 decades. Is that right? Yeah. 1993. What am I talking about? I read a story where for EC Publishing, Mr. Gaines put a bunch of EC comics in a paper bag and set them in a locker. And then they were discovered, years later, and they were in really great shape. I thought, why don't I try that? So I made 2 complete sets. It even says 2 complete sets of Maximum Carnage. So I'm going to pull these out of the bag now and take a look at them. They were off the rack, or not even a rack, the book rack that I used to go to, this place me and Joe Morton used to go to all the time. He would set them all out on his stacks of romance novels. And so on the new comic day, which I forget what day that was back then, back in the good old days, you just went and picked them up, and you could keep them near mint as best as possible. So these should be near mint. And of course, everybody in the 90s was buying duplicates. It's kind of what burned me out. And this is the year I quit collecting. Looks great. Now, I'm not a Carnage fan, and a lot of my viewers are not Carnage fans either. But let's see. This should be divided. Yes. Okay. So here, 2 complete sets of Maximum Carnage. And they look to be a near mint, or let's just say 9.6 if you're going to be a stickler about everything. So this was the book they made, Spider-Man Unlimited, #1. Cover price back then was $3.95, which is another reason I quit. But I thought at that time, I had to have everything. So then for part 2, you got to go to Web of Spider-Man. And then The Amazing Spider-Man. And you realize when you're buying these There's just the ridiculous Spider-Man title by itself. And they're killing everybody in New York. And you think, if this were real, they would have called out the National Guard or something. No one's going to let a society go bad like this. Of course, now in the time we're living in. Then back to the Spectacular Spider-Man. And then Web of Spider-Man. And Amazing Spider-Man. Who cares, really? But anyway, and then back to Spider-Man Unlimited #2. And I think this might be the only 2 issues they even made of this dumb title. But you had to buy it. So, what am I going to do with these? I'm going to see if I can't trade for something. See, who would like a whole set of Maximum Carnage? And maybe I can get some cool Bronze Age books out of these. Who knows? But it was a test. I wanted to see how they would hold up. They've been in an old file cabinet for 3 decades and a year, I guess. So, looks near mint. But enough of that fun and frivolity. Let's see if I can get caught up on the chat. Let's see, somewhere around here. Paulo. Enrica, I think I pronounced that wrong. There's Rod. Okay. Realizing the books you have. Enrico Palazza is a singer of the Naked Gun that Leslie Nielsen impersonates. And then he sings the national anthem totally off. Okay. Dell sure didn't make it easy for... No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Or for Walt Disney for some reason. Very cool system. Well, thank you. Want to see 250 plus comics. Yeah. Always enjoy a Nick Cardy cover. Yes, great. Yeah, they're great. Those Ghost comics are great. Yeah, excellent trade. I knew somebody would think it's an excellent trade. And the guy was happy because he'll be able to sell those. So, show off the skeleton playing the organ in his new video. I showed this to him. I showed that to Easy Comic Reader a few days ago. I gave away about 10 to 11 Maximum Carnage books. All right. Well, good. Next time, just go ahead and stuff that bag with about 20 copies of Amazing 300. I sold my Amazing 300 about 2 years ago. A whole lot of... Oh, and now you show up. Yeah, Dr. Silverage, you have not been mentioned this whole episode. I just want you to know. Don't tell them, guys. Too late to do that now, LP. Yes. Hey, Rod. Good to see you. Hi, I'm Michael. Rod, I played your commercial. That's what we're talking about. So that might be it for today. Don't forget this at the Atom Conspiracy. Highly recommend this. Fantastic. I can't wait to get... let's see. I am that far. I am almost done. And they go fast. After reading about 20 pages, I was amazed. The guy can write. Jeff Sutton. He can write. Looking forward to that. What else? Okay. Dr. Silverage is like, yeah, he's crying, laughing. That's probably about all I've got to talk about. I'll give you an update on some of the personal things that have been going on. Let me go up here to the... yes, Jackson, I'd like to do all 260 issues or however many it is. Kind of the same way I did with these paperbacks, where you just put one in front of the other and blah, blah, blah. Make it a full run video. But I don't know. I had to find some good duck music in the background for that. But and when I do stuff like that, I then... This is the software I use. It's kind of a bootleg software. Don't tell anybody. And here's one of an oldie. It's got a lot of little background music and my voice and stuff like that. But anyway, some of you have been very kind to ask, how's it going with your family? Some of you have sent me emails or Instagram posts. By the way, I'm on Graphic Man Comics on Instagram. And I'll flash my email up later if you want to chat with me on the side. But my son's doing great. Back in June, he got a steroid shot in the leg, and he is up and out of the wheelchair, doing great. But because of the wheelchair, he was out of a job for a long time, so he's having a hard time fight. He's been interviewing like crazy, but anyway, he's still young, so he's doing good. My dad, however, has been having trouble. Of course, some of you may know that earlier in the year he drove somebody's car to take them home, and he wrecked it. And he has a little bit of memory loss. And because of that, the doctors have sent him to get a special driver test at this specific hospital. Well, on Thursday, he did not pass. So I was called, and I had to figure out how to get him home and get his car back to his place. So now we have to determine what to do with his car. So tomorrow I'll be taking him grocery shopping, and that may be something I do from now on. But he keeps talking about taking a bus, but when he forgets things, I don't want him out and about on a bus. I try to have him over for college football, so kind of after when Dr. Silverage's channel starts to wind down, I go get him, and then we watch good college football. I used to watch the NFL, but I've kind of grown tired of that. I just watch college, and I'll get back to the chat in a second. But I'm got the pictures loaded for a reason. So when you're watching college football, they'll advertise NFL stuff, and they showed a commercial about how they got all the mascots from the NFL in one room. It was kind of a funny type commercial. Some of you might recognize this. So there you see the lion. Obviously, that's Detroit. There's the Buccaneers. The bear represents Chicago. You guys don't even really have to be sports fan. You can guess most of these. My dad was watching this commercial, and then there's a knock at the door, and the Giant walks in. Now, I'm sure you guys don't even have to be sports fans. You know who the Giant represents. Well, my dad turned to me and he asked me, what does that character represent? And I was very taken back. And I said, yeah, that's the New York Giants. Because there's the leopard, there's the Jacksonville Jaguar, there's the lion for the Detroit. And he had no clue who the New York Giants were. Now, this is the man that's watched football all his life. When I was being born, I had a Lenny Dawson jersey waiting for me in my crib when I came home. The big Chiefs fan. So he knows the NFL in and out, but he just, for some reason, right now, he has no idea who the New York Giants are. So that's an example of the selective memory. He can remember things from when he was in the Air Force. He'll tell you great stories, vivid, but just that little weird kind of block. So, but he's doing good, and he's got no real reason to go anywhere. So the place he's at is kind of a nice old retirement home that the old church runs. And so he's taken to church on Sunday just by their little pickup schedule. He doesn't need to go anywhere, but I'll be his wheels when he does. So some of you wanted an update, and that's about it. But otherwise, the family's doing great. And I'm all for trading comic books for getting books that you want. At Baltimore, I made a big trade for my Strange Suspense stories, number 19, to get other books I want. Yes, and Charlton, I've seen a few of your super comics. I commented, hey, I've got that one. That's great. I love super comics. Here's Hey Steve. Sorry I missed most of the show visiting with my folks, but I'll watch the rewind. Thank you. Here's Captain Strangelove. Just getting here. Hey there, Hans. Michael Taylor says, hi, Hans. Good to see you. Micah, oh my, I'm sorry to hear about your pop. Hope it gets better for him. Yeah. It's just part of it. Sorry to hear about your dad, Micah. I know that's got to be a tough situation for both of you. He's doing good, though. He's really doing good. Good to hear on MT. Dr. Silverage, Lead Paint, and everyone. Yep, my best friend is going through similar situations with his dad. Yep. Yeah, at least I'm not the bad guy because I was afraid, how am I going to talk him out of giving me the keys, you know? Because since he had that wreck, we were very worried. And well, he goes around, he'll run down to Branson and it's crazy. So, but I think he's taking it seriously. So good news, but yeah, my son's doing really great. Um, Now he's just trying to get back into the workflow. Um, and I'm still at the same old job, but we're doing good. I've been enjoying the cooler weather. I'm grilling out in the backyard much more, having a blast. So, um, anyway, wanted to do a stream tonight. Some of you have written to me saying, hey, okay, we don't see you doing as many streams. In fact, some people like Dr. Silverage told me recently, people are asking me what's happened to Micah. Well, I appreciate the concern. I appreciate that you guys miss the show on a weekly basis. I can't always promise that I'll be able to do one, but they're fun when I do, and I like that. Spinner Rack Dave has been asking me, hey, you should slow down and do one every other week. I have slowed down, and but that's just part of it. Although I might be seeing on another show coming up real soon, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm probably spilling the beans. I don't know. So, but just keep your eye posted on YouTube. You might see me pop up somewhere. Taking care of family is a top priority. Yes, Fireball it is. Once again, guys, go see Fireball's Instagram. He's got tons of great books. So, anyway, I just did 5 episodes on him. He could probably do 40 million. So, fantastic. All you guys got great jobs. See all these fine people in the chat. Subscribe to those. Check out their shows. Missed the show, but I remember you mentioning of the family issues and totally understand. Yeah. And sometimes it's quite easy just to come home from work and just go to bed early. So, when you're not on Wednesday night, you are greatly missed, my friend. Why, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Silverage. Dr. Silverage was kind enough yesterday. He came on in this little platform here at StreamYard, and I showed him a few seconds of the video. Can you hear it? Because we had trouble last time I did a paperback reader. So he was my guinea pig. And then for some reason, we ended up talking about wrestling. I don't know how that happened, but always fun to chat with the doctor. You guys should hear some of Dr. And so we have great times together. So anyway, maybe one day we'll do a behind the scenes episode. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Have a great rest of the Wednesday. I don't know what to tell you. Stock up on some water. We might be in for a weird October. So I have no knowledge of anything, but just got that weird feeling. So, and I'm sure you guys have that same weird feeling because you have to be blind not to see it. So anyway, make sure you got a lot of things in order. And don't waste a lot of money on books, whatever you do. Jackson, don't buy that book. If you want to. 21st Century Sub, I think he was looking for some. Anyway, you all have a great night. Don't forget to see, Dr. Silverage on Saturday. Don't forget to check out Captain Strangelove recently put out a great video. I'm telling poor Fireball not to buy books. Good night, everyone, and all the best to your family, Micah. Good night to you up in Canada, Mr. Ranger Sly. And I can't say anything better than Ranger, so happy drawing, everyone. Good night. We'll see you on YouTube real soon, probably sooner than you expect. So good night, everybody.